The story begins deep in the Amazon rainforest of Peru, where a researcher named Constance arrives with her partner Ezekiel in search of a strange species of spider. According to local legends, the creature possesses incredible abilities, and its venom can grant special powers. Ezekiel also tells her about Las Arañas, a mysterious tribe whose members are said to have spider-like abilities, such as moving through the trees at incredible speed and hiding within the shadows. Although Constance listens to these stories, she does not believe in the legends and is convinced that everything has a scientific explanation. Even while pregnant and feeling weaker every day, she continues her research. Meanwhile, Ezekiel secretly takes photographs of all her documents, because from the very beginning, his true goal has been to claim the discovery for himself. Shortly after, Constance finally finds the spider they have been searching for, and the entire team celebrates with excitement. But everything suddenly changes when Ezekiel pulls out a gun and eliminates everyone at the camp. He then tries to take the spider from Constance and reveals that he only helped her in order to steal her research. When she refuses, Ezekiel shoots her as well and escapes with the spider. As Constance lies dying, a member of Las Arañas tribe appears and carries her to a hidden sacred place, where he attempts to save her using healing waters and the venom of the special spider. At that moment, Constance gives birth to a baby girl named Cassie, but she dies shortly afterward. 30 years later, the story moves to New York City. Cassie now works as a paramedic alongside her partner Ben. One day, while transporting a woman to the hospital, she meets a girl named Mattie. Later at the hospital, she also meets Julia and then Anya, a young woman who lives in her apartment building. Without realizing it, the three girls are deeply connected to Cassie's future. Cassie lives alone with her cat and still keeps her mother's research journal, filled with notes about the Amazon spiders and the legends surrounding the tribe. The following day, Cassie and Ben respond to an emergency after a car is left hanging from a bridge. Together they manage to rescue the driver, but during the chaos, Cassie becomes trapped inside the vehicle and falls into the river. As she sinks beneath the water, she begins experiencing strange visions and sees a massive web spreading all around her. In that moment, something inside her starts to awaken. Years earlier, when the member of Las Arañas tried to save her mother using the spider's venom, the power also affected Cassie at the exact moment she was born. Since then, she had been carrying hidden abilities within herself, and now those powers were finally beginning to emerge. When Cassie wakes up after falling into the river, she discovers that Ben managed to rescue her before she drowned. But while speaking with him, she notices something strange. Ben repeats the exact same sentence twice. When Cassie asks why he did that, he insists that he only said it once. Without fully understanding it yet, Cassie has just experienced her new power for the first time. She can see a few seconds into the future before events actually happen. While she struggles to process everything, the story returns to Ezekiel, who is now an extremely wealthy and powerful man thanks to the abilities he gained from the spider years ago. During an important event, he approaches an NSA agent with the intention of stealing a device capable of controlling security cameras and electronic systems throughout the entire city. At that moment, Ezekiel once again experiences the same vision that has haunted him for years. In it, Julia, Anya, and Mattie appear as adults with powers, eliminating him. Convinced that the three girls will one day become a threat, he decides to find them first and eliminate them before that can happen. Without hesitation, he eliminates the agent, steals the device, and gains access to the system. The following day, Cassie accompanies Ben to a small family gathering. Ben's wife is pregnant, and everyone tries to guess what the baby's name will be. Cassie tries to relax, but the visions return. She begins to feel as if certain moments are repeating themselves, like she is seeing the future a few seconds before actually living through it. Shortly afterward, Ben receives an emergency call, and the two of them rush to a factory that has caught fire. While helping the victims, Cassie once again experiences strange visions of events that have not happened yet. Then she sees something horrifying, a vision of her boss dying in a car accident. Desperate, she tries to convince him not to drive the ambulance and begs him to let her take the wheel instead. But he believes Cassie is still traumatized after nearly drowning and ignores her warnings. Moments after he leaves, another vehicle crashes directly into the ambulance, eliminating him instantly. Cassie is completely devastated, convinced that she could have prevented the tragedy, although Ben tries to comfort her and assures her it was not her fault. Meanwhile, Ezekiel hands the stolen device over to one of his assistants and orders her to locate Julia, Mattie, and Anya as quickly as possible. For him, finding the three girls has become an obsession. On the other hand, Cassie decides to visit a doctor in search of answers. She explains all the strange things she has been experiencing, hoping to discover that it is some kind of physical or mental condition. However, after examining her, the doctor tells her that everything seems normal and recommends that she rest for a few days. Later that evening, while alone in her apartment, Cassie receives a call from Ben asking her to attend her boss's funeral. After hanging up, something strange happens. A pigeon crashes into the closed window of her apartment and dies instantly. Cassie stares at it in shock, but seconds later, she relives the exact same moment again. This time, the window is open, and the pigeon flies safely into the apartment before quickly flying back out. At that moment, Cassie finally understands the truth. Her visions are not dreams or hallucinations. She is actually seeing fragments of the future before they happen. Soon after, Cassie heads to her boss's funeral. At the same time, Ezekiel's assistant uses the city's surveillance system to track down Julia, Mattie, and Anya. Thanks to the security cameras, she manages to locate the three girls at a train station, and the moment Ezekiel learns where they are, he immediately sets out to eliminate them before the future from his visions can become reality. By coincidence, Cassie also arrives at the same station to catch the subway. Julia, Mattie, and Anya board the very same train as her, but at that exact moment, Cassie has another vision. This time, she sees Ezekiel attacking the three girls inside the station. When she looks up and spots him approaching in real life, she instantly realizes that everything is about to happen. Without hesitation, she grabs the three teenagers and forces them off the train. Naturally, the girls have no idea what is going on. They think Cassie is trying to kidnap them, so they begin screaming and fighting back while she desperately tries to explain that she only wants to help them. In the middle of the chaos, Ezekiel appears wearing his black suit with spider-like abilities and begins chasing them. While he fights against the station's security guards, Cassie takes advantage of the distraction, pushes the girls into a car, and speeds away. During the drive, Cassie hears the news reporting that the police are now searching for her as well, convinced that she kidnapped the three teenagers. Even so, when she realizes that the girls are practically alone in the city, she decides to continue protecting them. To prevent Ezekiel or the police from tracking them, she destroys their phones and drives them far away from New York to a remote wooded area with no security cameras. Meanwhile, Ezekiel orders the surveillance system to be used again to find them, but this time, the girls disappear completely from the radar. Now hidden deep in the woods, Julia, Mattie, and Anya begin bombarding Cassie with questions. The girls want to know who the man climbing walls like a spider was, how Cassie knew they were going to be attacked, and why all of this is happening to them. Their questions make Cassie remember her mother's research. She then tells the girls to stay hidden, while she returns home to investigate. Once there, Cassie goes through Constance's journal and finds information about Las Arañas, mysterious warriors from the Peruvian jungle. According to the notes, their abilities come from spider venom, granting them superhuman strength, speed, and the ability to climb walls. But there is something even more shocking. They can also see the future. Cassie is stunned when she reads this, because she begins to suspect that she may be connected to them. After all, she has visions of the future as well. She even tries climbing a wall herself to see if she has spider-like powers, but ends up falling to the ground. However, shortly afterward, she discovers something even more disturbing. Hidden among the journal's pages is a photograph of her mother standing beside Ezekiel. Cassie is shocked when she realizes that the man hunting the girls had known Constance for years. Meanwhile, back in the woods, the girls begin running out of food. Even though Cassie specifically told them not to leave, the three decide to visit a nearby diner to get something to eat. The problem is that the moment they enter the restaurant, the security cameras capture them. And that is exactly what Ezekiel has been waiting for. Within seconds, he gets their location and immediately heads out to find them. When Cassie returns to the woods, she realizes the girls are gone. She instantly panics and desperately starts searching for them. A short time later, she finds them at a nearby restaurant, and to her surprise, the three are dancing and enjoying themselves for the first time in a long while. Cassie becomes furious when she sees that they ignored her warnings. She quickly rushes inside and starts pulling them out of the diner. But at that exact moment, Ezekiel appears. Without wasting any time, he launches a direct attack on the girls. Cassie does everything she can to protect them and fights back against Ezekiel. But during the struggle, he stabs her in the stomach, leaving her badly wounded. And just when it seems like everything is over, something impossible happens. Suddenly, Cassie is pulled back in time and reappears in the woods minutes before the attack. Confused, she realizes that somehow she managed to reverse the events. Knowing what is about to happen, she immediately races toward the diner. This time, she arrives just as Ezekiel is about to strike. Without hesitation, she speeds up the car and crashes directly into him, sending him flying through the air. She then picks up the girls and escapes the area. Later, back at home, Cassie scolds the girls for breaking the one rule she gave them: stay hidden. But little by little, the mood changes as the girls begin opening up about their personal lives. Anya explains that her father abandoned the family and that her mother eventually ended up in a psychiatric hospital. Maddie admits that she has always felt lonely and never received affection from her family. Julia reveals that her father was deported and disappeared from her life, while her mother died when she was still a child. After hearing their stories, Cassie finally understands just how vulnerable and alone the three girls really are. For the first time, she begins to see them as more than just girls she needs to protect, so she decides they will stay with her until everything is over. Meanwhile, Ezekiel discovers something shocking. Cassie is Constance's daughter. Later, Cassie experiences another vision of the future, in which she directly confronts Ezekiel. In the vision, he reveals that he wants to eliminate Julia, Matty, and Anya, because in the future, they will gain powers and become responsible for his death. Cassie is stunned to learn that the three girls are also destined to develop special abilities. As time passes, Cassie and the girls begin growing closer and closer, forming a bond that feels almost like a family. Later, Cassie shows the girls an old photograph of her mother, and they are shocked to see Ezekiel standing beside Constance in the picture. Cassie then explains everything she discovered about the spiders and the mysterious Peruvian tribe with supernatural abilities. Determined to finally uncover the truth, Cassie makes an important decision. She will travel to the Peruvian Amazon to learn the full truth about her powers. Before leaving, she places the girls under Ben's care, trusting that they will be safe with him. After a long journey, Cassie finally arrives deep in the Amazon rainforest, where she meets the same tribal man who tried to save her mother years earlier. He reveals the entire truth to her. Constance had traveled to Peru because during her pregnancy, she discovered that Cassie suffered from a deadly disease with no cure. Desperate to save her daughter, she searched for the venom of those spiders, believing it had the power to heal any illness. But Ezekiel betrayed her, murdered the research team, and stole the spider in order to claim its power for himself. Without warning, the tribal man pushes Cassie into the sacred spring where she was born. As she sinks beneath the water, she begins experiencing visions far more intense than before. Now she can clearly see everything that happened in the past. Ezekiel's betrayal, her mother's death, and the real reason Constance risked her life. She did everything to save her daughter. In the middle of the vision, Cassie even comes face to face with her mother. Overcome with emotion, she embraces her and finally understands that Constance never abandoned her. On the contrary, she sacrificed absolutely everything for her. When Cassie emerges from the water, the tribal man explains that she is only beginning to understand the true extent of her powers. Cassie admits that she still has no idea how she can defeat Ezekiel, since he is far stronger and more dangerous than she is. The man then tells her that she is the only one capable of changing the future, and that with time, she will learn to fully master her abilities. Meanwhile, Ezekiel once again orders the city's surveillance system to search for Julia, Matty, and Anya. But this time there is no trace of them. The girls remain hidden at Ben's house, far away from the cameras and tracking systems. That same night, Ben's wife suddenly begins feeling very sick because of her pregnancy. As her condition worsens, Ben quickly puts the girls into the car alongside her and rushes toward the hospital. But the moment they leave the house, Ezekiel's system finally detects them. As soon as he discovers their location, he immediately heads out to attack them. By that point, Cassie has already returned from Peru, and after seeing a vision of the danger ahead, she rushes to help them. Ben tries to make his way through traffic on the road to the hospital, but Ezekiel orders the city's traffic lights to be hacked, causing massive gridlock throughout the streets. The car becomes trapped in the middle of the chaos, giving Ezekiel the perfect chance to close in. But just as he is about to reach them, Cassie suddenly appears driving an ambulance and crashes directly into him, sending him flying away from the vehicle. She then tells Ben to keep heading towards the hospital while she takes the 3 girls with her. However, Ezekiel catches up to them once again, starting another intense chase. Thanks to her visions, Cassie already knows what he is about to do. When Ezekiel lands on top of the ambulance, she activates the vehicle's electrical system, and a powerful shock throws him violently back to the ground. Although they manage to escape for a moment, the ambulance eventually breaks down. Cassie then calls for emergency air support and leads the girls into an old fireworks factory nearby. Knowing Ezekiel will follow them, she begins setting off fireworks all throughout the building, turning the entire factory into a chaotic storm of explosions and flames. Ezekiel arrives shortly afterward, but the constant explosions make it difficult for him to get close. While he struggles to move through the chaos, Cassie and the girls search for a way out inside the factory. A short time later, a helicopter appears above the building to rescue them. The 4 of them make their way through flames and falling debris until they climb onto a massive company sign hanging high above the ground, dangerously close to the helicopter. But just before they can escape, Ezekiel appears once again, and a final battle begins on top of the enormous structure while everything around them collapses. During the fight, Julia, Matty, and Anya begin slipping and are moments away from falling into the fire below. Ezekiel mocks Cassie, telling her that she cannot save all of them at the same time. But this time, Cassie has learned to control her powers much better. In an instant, she seems to appear in multiple places at once, managing to save all 3 girls before they fall. Enraged, Ezekiel attacks Cassie and tries to finish her once and for all. However, what he does not realize is that Cassie had already seen this exact moment in one of her visions. Everything was part of her plan. Just as Ezekiel moves in to strike her, the massive sign breaks loose and crashes down on top of him, dragging him all the way to the ground and eliminating him instantly. Although she succeeds in defeating him, Cassie also falls into the river, along with the wreckage of the structure. The girls manage to rescue her and quickly rush her to the hospital. Soon afterward, Ben receives joyful news. His wife successfully gives birth to a healthy baby boy. But Cassie suffers severe consequences from the final battle. Her injuries cause her to lose her eyesight, and her legs are badly damaged. When the doctors ask who Julia, Matty, and Anya are, the 3 girls proudly answer that they are Cassie's family. And by that point, Cassie sees them as her family as well. From then on, the 4 of them begin living together and taking care of one another. In addition, after everything that happened, Cassie's powers finally awaken completely, allowing her to see the future far more clearly and control her abilities much better. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me know what you think about this movie.